So you're thinking about hiring me for consulting and you want to know what it's going to be like. What I'm all about is focusing on your environment as a whole, like looking at the developers, the storage team, the sysadmins, the VMware admins, the cloud admins. I'm trying to get everybody on the same page very quickly, identify what your business's biggest pain points are. I don't really care about best practices. Nobody has the time to build everything perfectly. I'm all about figuring out what your pain points are and then helping you get past those pain points as quickly as possible so that everybody understands not whose fault it is, but what we need to do to make this thing go faster and stop worrying about SQL Server and get back to shipping features. The way that I do it is my SQL Critical Care, and it's got two parts. The first part, when you sign the contract, I give you my SQL Constant Care, which is this app that polls your SQL Server once a day for performance metrics. That way, leading up to the time when we work together, I can give you advice, not just automated advice, but I pop in and look at your data to say, oh, I'm seeing what's happening here on the SQL Server. Here are some things that you can do ahead of the engagement to mitigate the pain. I'm trying to make some of the easy no-brainer stuff go away. For example, in a recent engagement, we solved it just in this phase alone because we identified that they had half of their CPUs turned off. Then on the live 2 engagement days that we actually work together, in the morning of day 1, we get together over WebEx face-to-face, and we're going through your SQL Server rapid fire, doing all kinds of diagnostic queries, looking at the problems that you're facing. And I'm asking a lot of questions to you and your staff to figure out what are the easiest ways that we're going to be able to get past some of these issues that we're seeing. This stored procedure here, could we rewrite it? This function right here, could I maybe do a better job of calling this? Are you open to changing this particular setting on the SQL Server level? Then, after the morning of day 1, I break off for the afternoon of day 1 and day 2's morning so that I can go write the custom findings. And the findings are a mix of consulting and training because I want to teach you exactly what you need to know in order to get past the pain points quickly. Then in the afternoon of day 2, we get back together and we go through those findings in detail. It's totally read-only during those 2 days. I'm not making changes to your SQL Server. I don't need logins or remote desktop access, any of that. What we're doing is it's almost like I'm sitting over your shoulder and I'm guiding you towards, here are the things that I'm seeing and here are the queries that we're going to go run to figure out the fastest way past your pain points. If you want to see sample deliverables, you can scroll down and on the site there's information about patient A, patient B, and patient C, all of which were real SQL Critical Care patients. I've just redacted the information that's obviously specific to their code or their company. So maybe there's one in there that resonates with you so you can understand the depth to which we go. One of the most important things I'll say is my goal is to have you do as little things as possible, do as little pieces of work as possible. So what I do is I give you 3 homework spreadsheets, a short term, a middle term, and a long term. Short term is literally this week. Middle term is literally this month. Things that I want you to do in the first 7 days and the first 30 days. And the instant that you're done with pain relief, as soon as that pain stops, I want you to stop going through the homework. I don't want you to keep digging away on that SQL Server. I will give you future training advice. I'll say, okay, based on the things that we see in the SQL Server, here are the bottlenecks that I predict you're going to hit next. And here's a learning plan so that you can steer your way around some of those bottlenecks. But my goal is to have, ideally within 1 week, you know exactly what you've needed to change and you've changed it so that now you can get back to shipping features to customers. Then, going forward, anything you want to ask me via email is totally free, because at that point I've got your data, I've got a pretty good idea of how your system works, so it's easy for me to give you custom advice. However, if there's something that you want for a longer Q&A type session, you're welcome to book access on my calendar. You get access to my live calendar where my current customers get priority, and you can just swipe a credit card and book me for 3-hour chunks at a time. So if this works for you, what you do is scroll down and pick my next available dates. These really are my next available dates that you see below on the calendar. My availability tends to be all over the place. Sometimes I'm traveling or booked out for longer engagements with customers. As soon as you fill that form out, within 60 seconds, you're going to get a contract via email. When you sign that, I'll go back and countersign it, and then you're going to have a deposit form activate on the contract so that you can pay for a deposit right then and there with a credit card, or if you want to pay via wire, that's fine as well. I do book first come, first serve, so if you want to get started, let's do this. I'd love to help make your SQL Server go faster.